Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to discuss chapter dividend decision theories. Earlier in the previous lecture, we have discussed meaning of dividend, determinants of dividend, and types and forms of dividend. Today we are going to discuss theories of dividend. So in this, we are going to discuss Walter's model, Gordon's model, Miller and Modgilani hypothesis. Types of dividend theories. Dividend theories are divided into two parts. One is relevant theories and another one is irrelevant theory. Relevant theories again divided it into two parts. One is Walter's model, another one is Gordon's model, and irrelevant theory. Under irrelevant theory, there is Modgilani and Miller approach or theory. So, what is relevant theories now? What is the meaning of relevant concept of dividend? Dividends are relevant, and the amount of dividend affects the value of the firm under relevance concept of dividend. And according to Walter, Gordon, and other authors, that dividend decisions are relevant in influencing the value of the firm. Walter argues that the choice of dividend policies almost and always affect the value of the enterprise. And irrelevance concept of dividend means first of all, it is propounded by Modgilani and Miller in 1961. And according to this approach, the dividend policy of a firm is irrelevant and it does not affect the wealth of the shareholders. They argue that the value of the firm depends on the market price of the share. The dividend decision is of no use in determining the value of the firm. And the relevance concept of dividend, the theories of dividend describing the relevance of dividend with the value of the firm is having traditional approach also. And in traditional approach to the dividend policy, it was given by Graham and Dodd, and they laid a clear emphasis on the relationship between dividends and stock market. And according to traditional approach, the stock value responds positively to higher dividend and negatively when there are low dividend. And there are and now we are going to discuss Walter's model. So what is Walter's model and what are the assumptions? We are going to discuss this. So what is Walter model now? Similar to the traditional approach only, the dividend policy is given by James E. Walter, also considers that dividend are relevant and they do affect the share price. In this model, he studied the relationship between the internal rate of return and the cost of capital of the firm to give a dividend policy that maximizes the shareholders wealth. And now this model studies the relevance of the dividend in three situations. See, in the slide also you can see the three situations. If return is greater than cost of capital, if return is less than cost of capital, and if return is equivalent to cost of capital. So if return is more than cost of capital, it means that the company can retain all earnings and invest in available projects. If return is less than KE, it means that the company should distribute all the earnings that the shareholders can earn more than what the company can do with the retained amount. And if return is equivalent to cost of equity capital, then dividend is irrelevant and the dividend policy would not affect the value of the firm. So see, this is these are the three ways, and this model studies these three particular situations. And now what are the assumptions of Walter model? See, under Walter model, retained earnings are the only source of finance available to the firm, with no outside debt or additional equity is used. And now R and K, that means return and cost of capital, are assumed to be constant, and thus additional investments made by the firm will not change its risk and return profiles. Firms has an long life, and for a given value of the firm, the dividend per share and the earning per share remain constant in Walter's model. So, and the formula for Walter model, you can see it on the screen only. And P here denotes market price per share, and D is dividend per share, R is rate of return, KE is cost of equity, and E is earning per share. So this is all about Walter's formula. Now next is Gordon's model, and it is also called as Gordon's dividend capitalization approach. And this is given by Myron Gordon, and he has developed a model on the lines of uh, Professor Walter. suggesting that dividends are relevant and the dividend decisions of the firm affects its value. He has used the dividend capitalization approach to study the effect of firm's dividend policy available on the stock price. So, according to Gordon, also investors are risk averse and they consider only future dividends better than capital gains, and thus value it is based on the expected returns in the future. Now we'll discuss some of the assumptions of Gordon. The firm will be an all equity firm with new investment proposals being financed solely by the retained earnings, and return on investment, that is R, and the cost of equity capital, that is KE, remain constant in this. Firm has an infinite life and the retention ratio remain constant, and hence the growth rate is also constant, and K is more than BR. What is BR? Cost of equity capital is growth is more than the growth rate. Fine. So what is the formula for Gordon now? You can see it here on the screen only, and here P denotes market price per share, E is earning per share, B is retention ratio, R is rate of return on investment of the firm, KE is cost of equity, and BR is growth rate of the firm. So this is Gordon model. Now we'll be discussing Miller Modgilani hypothesis. It is also, you can also say it as a Modgilani and Miller approach, or model, and this comes under irrelevance concept of dividend. So the following theories of dividend describe that the I mean this Modgilani and Miller, this is the theory, describes that the dividend policy of the firm is irrelevant and it does not affect the value of the shareholders. So Modgilani and Miller approach, who have propounded this theory, propounded the hypothesis to explain the irrelevance of a firm's dividend policy, and this model was based on a few assumptions, sidelined the importance of the dividend policy and its effect thereof on the share price of the firm. According to this model, it is the only firm's investment policy that will have an impact on the share value of the firm and hence should be given more importance. Fine. So this is the explanation, and now we'll be doing assumptions of approach. So the first assumption is that that it is the existence of a perfect market in which all the investors are rational. In perfect market competition, there is easy access to information, and the flotation and the transaction cost do not exist. The securities are indefinitely divisible, and hence no single investment is large enough to influence the share value. Secondly, it is assumed that there are no taxes, implying that there are no differential tax rates for the dividend income and the capital gain. And the third assumption is a constant investment policy of the firm, which will not change the risk complexion nor the rate of return, even in case where the investment are funded by the retained earnings. Finally, it was also assumed that the investors are able to forecast the future earnings, the dividends, and the share value of the firm with certainty. This assumption was, however, dropped out of the model. So this is all about the assumptions of the approach. Now we will discuss the formula for this. So this is the formula that you can see on the screen, and here P0 denotes market price per share at the beginning of the year. D1 denotes expected dividend at the end of the period, and P1 is market price per share at the end of the year, and KE is cost of equity capital. So this is approach. This is all about approach. So these are the theories of the dividend that we have discussed. Now we'll be doing the practicals of these theories in the next lecture. So thank you so much.